Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the ESL Hearthstone Legendary Series. This is day 2 of the Redemption Tournament. Once again, I'm Osmocutie, joined with Frodan. We just saw the Big Sock Chalk take a victory.
That's right. I'm glad that nickname's catching on since the Season 1 finals.
Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. I use it every single time.
Big Sock Chalk.
Yeah.
That's only when he goes really big, though, and he's going to need to come up huge for the next couple of matches. We'll talk about that when the time comes. In the meantime, we got Modernleper versus Leadpaint. Leadpaint, a player who qualified twice, failed twice, but gets 2 more chances as for... Excuse me. I had a cup of water really quick before.
Excuse me.
I'm all burpy and bloaty, man. This is what happens. Okay, so this is the reality is. I know we can talk about the lineup in just a sec, but as casters, we get a few minutes just to snarf down whatever food or drink that we have, and so we have to rush. Naturally, some gas starts to build up in the stomach, and we start burping a little bit, and DJ farts on occasion.
I've never eaten a falafel so quickly.
Yeah,
and it makes me very gaseous.
He inhaled it, literally. And so I apologize for my rude behavior. I hope people are not too grossed out.
No.
To make it up to you, I promise that this series will be fun. We have Warrior versus Warriors. We have Warlocks, but we have Hunter and Druid as the split. We're going to start off with Warlock versus Warlock. Do you think it's Handlock versus Handlock, or do you think it's Zoo versus Zoo? Do you think there's a demon thrown there? Do you think there's a possibility of dragons being involved?
I actually don't think there's a possibility of dragons being involved. But,
okay, that's too bad.
I mean, there's a very small...
What about Murlocs? Do you think there's a possibility of Murlocs being involved?
100%. Murlocs are just the way to go. Aggro Rogue's making a comeback. It's about time that Murloc Rogue. We saw Soulfire earlier from Chalky, so wouldn't be surprised with anything. Probably 2 Handlocks. Judging by these players' histories, judging after talking to them with the decks that they like. But, I mean, we'll have to see. Players can have a lot of benefit from being unpredictable, and these 2 players especially, because Leadpaint has been exposed a lot because he's participated in 2 weeks, and he's improved over time. In week 2, he did a really bad performance. He was the first player eliminated, so tied for 7th. He had a total game score of 2 and 6, whereas in week 3, he actually made it to 5th, and he had a positive game score of 7 to 6, and it seemed like he was improving. He was one of the players that beat Oskaka. He beat Oskaka 3-0, which is a pretty impressive feat. And so if that pattern continues, then he's going to have a pretty successful day.
Fair enough. We'll see. The path to success begins now. We have Implosion, Earthwing Farseal, Sludge Belcher. So that looks to me like if I were to just take a wild guess, I would say that's the combo Warlock.
Yeah.
If I were to take a wild guess. Now, of course, it could be just a straight up Demon Lock. It could be
Dragon
Handlock. It could be Dragon Warlock. It could be straight up Handlock with just Implosions to control the state of the board.
Yeah.
But I don't know why you'd play that over Twilight Drakes. In the meantime, Modernleper, pretty usual stuff. Mountain Giant, Twilight Drakes, just to capitalize on the patrons and make their lives difficult. Whoa! You said, TJ, there was a 0% chance that dragons were involved.
No.
You promised!
But then
you swore.
And then I saw the mulligans, and
TJ,
I saw the mulligans.
Swear to me.
Then I saw the mulligans, and I said, oh, that looks like a lot like Dragon Warlock.
TJ,
I took it back.
I think we should cast with other people. I've been thinking about it for a long time.
It's not me.
You're a one-caster type of guy?
It's you.
oh, gotcha. Soulfire, it's so sick.
All right. So
I was half right. It's a combo Warlock, but
yeah,
in a different way. You're not comboing through arcane golems. You're blasting them in the face.
Yeah. There's been a few high profile players playing this deck. I feel sort of silly by not knowing where it originated from, but Nyria's been playing it a lot on his stream. There's been a couple other players that are high elo, but I'm not going to give anybody credit because I just don't know. Just seeing where I've seen it. And the main win condition of this deck is to basically control the state of the game like a normal combo lock does, but instead of having, like you said, the double, like the Arcane Golem, Faceless Manipulator, Power of Woman combo, they have combos like Malygos, Soulfire, Dark Bomb. And a lot of those combos are unlocked with Emperor Thorsan. Like, I mean, Malygos is 9 mana, you'd only be able to play 1 Soulfire. But that's huge amounts of damage that can come out with those couples of cards. And he's got all the pieces that he needs in his hand right now to be able to do cool things.
Right. So Thorson reducing it means for 9 mana, Malygos does 9 damage with Soulfire and 8 damage. So 17 damage on turn 9.
Yep.
And if he pokes up another Soulfire, that's 21 damage.
The deck that
I love it. This is the first thing that I did as soon as Thorson came out. I slapped him in every single possible combo deck, whether it's through chargers or spells. I mean, I even threw it in this Freeze Mage for Seat Story Cup. That was really fun. And then everyone started doing that too. It's really cool stuff, man. It's one of the sickest decks out there, let me tell you.
Yeah, I think one of the decks that this deck is actually really strong against is the Handlock Mirror, because it's got a lot of cards. I mean, the first however many turns are very similar to a normal Handlock. You don't have, usually you don't have Mountain Giant. Sometimes you even do. And you have all the answers that a normal Handlock would have to deal with other Handlock things, like Owls and BGHs.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, he's going to control the other board really effectively. He's got Mortal Coil here. He's got a Blackwing Corruptor, or even tap Implosion. Thorson to just make things cheaper. It's a lot of versatility in the deck.
Yep.
And there's no way to answer Thorson. What if this Malygos becomes 7 mana, TJ? What are you going to do with your life when he Hellfires for 8 damage and kills himself?
Yeah, that is actually...
I don't know. Wait.
It sounds weird, but that's actually a huge threat. Or Malygos on the board, and then you Implosion. Literally fill the board with him. It's crazy. I've seen it before.
Oh, God.
It actually happens more often than you think. I mean, a lot of players say, oh, well, Malygos, it's like a combo. But sometimes Malygos just lives on the board. It's really hard to remove. It's
4/12.
It's a Ysera, effectively. What Ysera is sometimes really hard to remove.
It's a Malygos.
I'm talking about the body, because most people are more accustomed to seeing a Ysera than a Malygos. Maybe not as much nowadays, but...
Are there any other 4/12s? I don't think so. I think every dragon's an 8/8 or 6/8.
Yeah.
Or no, 12/12.
Deathwing.
So a Deathwing that got Humility played on it and then got Sharp Sword oiled.
Yep.
So that's a 4/12.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, or a... No, it's pushing it. I mean, you could do that with any 8/8. Like an 8/8 that got Aldor, Sharp Sword oiled, and double Power Word shielded.
Also true. Oh my God. The Soulfire for 0 mana. We're back, boys. Discards Gang Boss. Who cares? You played Malygos. He said he had no way to deal with Thorson, not even a silence.
Yep.
And this Hellfire is 8 damage. Implosion for 9 damage. Wait, is Implosion? Wait. Does Implosion deal damage to only minions, or can it deal damage to anything?
No, it's only minions.
Okay. Because if it could deal damage to the face and you create 9 imps, I mean, my life would be complete, TJ. You could kill me right now.
Yeah.
And I'd be satisfied with everything that I've witnessed.
Yeah.
An Implosion for 9, creating 5 imps on the board.
I actually won a ladder game because I was playing Implosion and my opponent was at 2 health. And I just pointed the Implosion at their face for like 5 seconds. Like it was a different spell, like Bane of Doom or Soulfire or something, and they conceded.
Oh, right.
And then I said... Exactly like that.
You said that.
It was an emulation.
I think he's going to want to silence this this Malygos.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because he could...
But still, like you said, a pretty big threat. I mean, actually, Lotheb stops spells from being played, too. Or so he thinks! He's going to Implosion that thing! He is about to rock Lotheb's world and not even call him back.
And he has a...
Oh, he's going to heal bot. All right.
Okay.
So he can play the Defender of Argus instead.
Well,
like...
That's probably more sensible.
No, it's the more sensible play. If he didn't draw the Defender of Argus, though, man, he would have had some pretty crazy, wild stuff on the board.
Yeah. But, I mean... This isn't the greatest position for Leadpaint. He's got control of the board, but if his Malygos gets silenced, a lot of his late-game power is in that card and his spells.
Kind of, but there's got to be more dragons. There has to be a Ysera in there. It just like has to be. Maybe Nefarian. Like, why would you play Blackwing Corruptor if you had one dragon?
Well, Alexstrasza.
Yeah, exactly. So there's other dragons that are threats.
Twilight Drakes.
Twilight Drakes. Okay, so you have 4 dragons. But you probably played Nefarian, right? Or Ysera?
To be honest, I don't know. One of the lists that I saw didn't play Ysera. But it would make sense. A lot of sense, actually. But there's a lot of cards that you got to fit in here. Like there's those, the Technicians, the 3/5s, Blackwing Corruptors, Implosions, Dark Bombs, Soulfires, Hellfires, Twilight Drakes, Antique Healbots. Like, the deck, it's like a handlock that just takes out a couple cards.
Ooh,
Azure Drakes.
Okay. So
I don't think there's a Ysera, to be honest. I could be proven wrong, though. I mean, there's a lot of...
Would you give what are the chances, TJ, that Ysera is in this deck?
9 out of 10 that it's not. 0% chance.
0% chance, TJ.
0% chance that Ysera is in this deck.
You are incredulous, my friend. All right, Implosion, reasonable. Drake to draw would also be really good. Keep in mind that he's just a few points off of lethal until he draws that Drake, by the way. He's got 20 damage, I think, next turn from 2 Hellfires. Oh, no, he would kill his own minions by doing that. Oh, yeah, Hellfire for 4 damage kills everything on the board.
Yep.
But Dark Bomb and Hellfire is 8 damage plus the second Hellfire, which is 11 damage. So he's got 11 damage from the hand, assuming a Drake survives. He's going to hold off on this, let his opponent deal with the rest. He can play Molten Giant Shadow Flame if he had it, but Modernleper going with the double Big Game Hunter has only situational cards. It's a pretty bad hand. He's got a pair of Watchers, a pair of Hunters, and a pair of Giants.
And the Big Game Hunters are not effective in this matchup. I think Alexstrasza might be the only target for a Big Game Hunter in the whole deck. Pretty sure.
I'm a little sad that Leadpaint's going to win. Or not going to, but...
Ouch!
It's like, I want to see this deck again and just, like, destroy every single deck with Malygos.
Well, you're upset if he wins this.
But it's really cool. Like, I actually kind of hope Leadpaint advances through the whole thing now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really useless. Hellfire and a Dark Bomb to clean it up.
But
2 Molten Giants. That also means he's dead, though. He's got 2 Hellfires and a Blackwing Corruptor and a Dark Bomb that he could fit.
That is
and Malygos survives.
Yeah, that's actually quite a few dragons. Double Twilight Drake, double Azure Drake.
Wow.
Malygos, assuming Alexstrasza. 0% chance there's a Ysera. But, you know, good effort.
Yeah.
By you.
Good stuff. Leadpaint takes game number 1 with his Malygos Warlock deck. I don't know. It's just basically Dragon Warlock.
Yeah.
0% chance.
Really cool, though. Really cool. As soon as I saw the mulligans, I was thinking, oh, man. That's Dragon. I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Yeah. TJ, 0% chance Sanders.
Ouch. I hope that nickname doesn't stick, because it's terrible. All right.
0% chance QT. How about that?
That makes it better. Fantastic.
Oh, God. All right, so we have Hunter, Warrior, Warlock still from Modernleper. The Warlock's gone, so there's Warrior and Druid remaining. Leadpaint, I hope that he legitimately just brings out Dragon decks and everything. Just Dragon Warrior.
Yep.
And then Dragon Druid. Who cares? It doesn't even make sense. You just ramp with Dragon, sure.
Yeah.
You play Blackwing Technician.
Rain had played.
You play
Dragon
Ysera. Yeah, you're just dragging it up.
Yeah. He had mild success with it at rank 4.
Rainhead, mild success? No. On the stream you're talking about?
Yeah, on his stream.
Yeah, I saw him messing around with it. It's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact is dragons are awesome. They're one of the coolest mythological creatures that you can ever explore in terms of tribal synergy.
It's sort of the mechanic of dragons are unique, where you're like rewarded for holding on to them. Because there's not anything else that you have things in your hand that activate
Yeah, I mean,
things that you play.
this is what's going to happen. Every set that comes out from this point on is going to probably include a dragon or two, right? Just like how there's always another Murloc added, even though it's not a Murloc expansion.
Yeah.
Or, you know, there's a couple of things that might get added for mechs. You know, when mech expansion came out, Heart was going converted into a mech. Those kinds of things might end up start coming out. I really hope that one day we can also see some fusion of stuff. Like, it'd be really cool if some things were like a mech and a dragon, and you can kind of fuse things. That's why you don't have to only make it mech. It can be like, for example, the Dragon League mechanic. That little dragon thing that comes out, it's a mech, but it's also kind of a dragon.
Yeah. So you want there to be
Well,
dragon
it'd be
slash
sweet
mech.
if you could combine the two of them in some capacity,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like, this is where the brilliance of Magic came in. It's not just the colors and the wheels and how they relate with different factions and tribes, but it's when you start combining them and do really cool stuff like red, green, white, and you start having swarm boards with like really powerful turns, or
Yeah.
you do like black, blue, white, and stuff like that. That gets really sick.
Well, Hearthstone's a young game, so it's got
There's
got a lot of room to develop.
You know, the ceiling is through the roof, but I don't even understand, you know, how some cards can continue to develop into the design space of dragons. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to see the future expansions, like where they continue to explore dragons.
Me too, Dan. Me too. This matchup, though, is going to be Druid versus Warrior. Modernleper was the guy in his regular season week. When I talked to him, he said, if you don't bring Grim Patron Warrior, you're making a mistake. That's what he said.
And, well, maybe Leadpaint does have Grim Patron Warrior. Maybe he doesn't. What do you think there's chances, TJ, of a dragon being in this Druid deck?
Pretty high, actually. 100%.
100%?
100%. Dan. Azure Drake.
Right, that's a dragon. I was actually testing you.
Yeah. I was thinking for a second. I was really about to say 0%.
A legendary dragon.
A legendary dragon. 0%.
0% chance a legendary dragon comes out. Well, this is going to be really annoying to deal with, Frothing Berserker, but he's got the silence on it with Key Brother Grove. That's stuff to do. 2 Ancient of Wars, curving out from 4 to 7. That's what the coin is for normally. But the coin, unfortunately, belongs to the Warrior player. That's a Deathbite, perfect draw for the curve, so you can set up for a really good Thorson next turn.
The Ancient of War, placed in Druid. Of course, made popular by Raynad. At least that's what he'll tell you.
Do you think there's any merit to playing Fiery War Axe so we can get 2 cards off of Battle Rage? I don't think so. I think Deathbite's better here.
Well, what are you setting up with Deathbite?
A snipe on whatever comes out for 5 mana, plus Thorson next turn because you can coin it. Okay. So
I don't really think there's any rush.
Well, it's not rush.
To play the Deathbite. Oh, it's kind of Russian.
Is it rush?
Yeah, I think so.
That is not Russian.
Deathbite is the most important card in this deck. This is one of the decks where you want to be... You're never conservative with Deathbite. But if this is one of the Warrior deck where you want to be more conservative than any of the Warrior deck.
Well, he goes for more card draw instead.
Well, yeah, that's
like the whole point of early game, right, for the Warrior.
Yeah. Deathbite doesn't set up for anything on your end. It sets up for something on his end, like you deal with a Sludge Belcher.
Well, now I guess he still can do the same thing, Thorson.
Yeah. And you get more value out of Thorson because you took your turn last turn to draw cards.
It just felt like if you played Thorson and then you had Deathbite to help clear, then you get like Whirlwind Effect and then you play the Battle Rage for 1 mana. But this sequencing ends up so that way he draws more cards preemptively, and the cards that do end up getting drawn are like super high values. Look at it, like War Song Commander, Frothing Berserker, all going to be really cheap.
Yeah.
This is tough for the Druid to deal with. In fact, he doesn't have a way to deal with Thorson.
No.
He has to silence it.
It's a really clunky hand. I mean, 3 7-drops from the get-go, essentially, was not what he wanted to see.
Well, with no Wild Growth or Innervate, that's definitely not the sequence of cards you wanted to draw.
Nope.
So now he can start setting up stuff, you know, setting up the Death Spite. Just wait till he draws that Grim Patron. Probably you can get away with slamming first here. Unless he wants to play the Sludge Belcher, so that way he has a bigger board for things. But ideally, I'd like to develop a Death Spite soon.
This turn is kind of weird, just because he's like 1 mana away from doing really powerful things. Like, he's 1 mana away from being able to play Sludge Belcher and Death Spite, which would be sort of ideal.
Right.
If he slams, he slams and Sludge Belchers. That's awkward because he just wasted the 2 damage from the slam effectively. So he's got to be a little bit more creative with his turn if he wants to use his mana effectively.
Wow, he's going aggressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
7 damage. It's really hard for Druid to clear this.
Yeah.
So he's taking the initiative on it.
There's some matchups with Grim Patron Warrior where you need to utilize Frothing Berserker as a win condition, like against Control Warriors or against Priests, like more control-y Priests. But against most decks, especially decks that you know you'll get lots of Grim Patron value off of, you can use your Frothing Berserker early just to apply pressure. And I really like the early Frothing Berserker plays because sometimes, actually most of the time, you're forcing your opponent to play suboptimally in order to deal with it.
If he draws Execute, is that like game? Holy smokes!
It might just be game anyway. If he Death Spites into this, double Whirlwinds, attacks him with the Cruel Taskmaster.
In a rage.
In a rage. Let's see, that would be each
Whirlwind's +5 damage right now.
Yeah,
so that's going to be a 16 damage hit.
Plus in a rage would be extra 3 damage.
Uh-oh, did he Whirlwind again? Oh, he Whirlwind again without attacking into the Cool Task. He loses a little bit of damage here.
It's still going to be...
Is still that going to be enough? Yeah, I think so, because it gains the 3 damage from the inner range.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Wow! Leadpaint's like, okay, not bad. Well played, sir. And he finds
That was really well played from Modernleper.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes those turns are possible, and it just...
Yeah, good stuff. Well played.
Yeah, the double Whirlwind draw off the slam is exactly what he needed. I mean, that wasn't even... He was in a great spot, even if he drew into something that was less consequential.
Too, right?
Yeah.
He overkilled him by a little bit. He also lost damage on the Cruel Taskmaster. So.
Yeah, he was at, 24 health, and he could have done 28 damage. Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm. That's without Grim Patron. That wasn't even Grim Patron Warrior. That was just
Frothing Berserker.
The Frothy Warrior. But he's going to tie the series up 1-1. Leadpaint still have yet to see his Warrior deck. Educated guess would say it is Grim Patron Warrior.
Yeah. I mean, it is a really powerful deck, and it seems like Modernleper is really good at it, too. Like, he takes his time, thinks it through. Sure, he made a mistake with the Cool Taskmaster, but he definitely is still able to figure out. And the navigation through it was really, really sharp as well. But that's a tough matchup. Like, the Druid in general, as much as you can try and get those Ancient of Wars to stop the damage, if your opponent draws a lot of cards early on and you have a slow start, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
So... even despite that, I think Leadpaint still might be in a pretty okay spot. It really does depend, though, on whether or not this Druid deck is just going to get pushed out. If that's a mid-range Warrior and Leadpaint's playing his Handlock, I mean, those are 2 decks that can definitely take down the Druid.
Yeah. More Druids today than we saw yesterday. Yesterday we only saw 1 Druid. The whole day, only 1 Druid. It seems like it's getting pushed out just because a lot of the decks, like you sort of just mentioned, that are popular right now really just are tough matchups for Druid.
Yeah, they're muscling it out.
Yeah. But of course, a Druid will always find at least a small place in the meta just because of the nature of Druid. Whoa! Unintentional pun, sorry. Because they can have explosive... Sometimes I just surprise myself. Because they can have explosive starts with Wild Growth and Innervate.
And if you can't enjoy, if you can't enjoy yourself, TJ, then what's the point?
Exactly.
If you can't laugh, you can't have fun.
I must protect the wild.
Speaking of Innervate.
Yeah. Innervate is a really important card. Now, Swipe is pretty valuable against the face hunter, but you just have no guarantee, so you should throw it back, try to get a better curve. Keeper that grows what you'd look for. Ooh, or this. Innervate Shade, Coin Shade. But now you have a fire drop as well, so you could pass turn 1, Coin Shade, and then Innervate Sludge Belcher. Or Coin, Innervate Sludge Belcher, play Shade. It depends on how you want to sequence it.
Get in there and fight.
Yeah. I think a lot of it depends on the drop that he gets over the next turn, but a lot of times the delayed Sludge Belcher I don't think is bad as long as you're doing things early on that control the state of the board, which double Shade
Sure.
is fantastic for doing that.
Right.
On a Creeper is very problematic though.
It is pretty annoying.
All right, he is going to hold on to it, so
Yeah, he's got a curve.
yeah, that's actually a pretty fantastic curve.
He doesn't want to throw it out, so he just gets baited easily. Glaive Zuka is something. Thing is, Knife Juggler here is just unprotected, gets sniped easily. If he kill commands now, he put him down to 21, but he doesn't have too much damage to back it up. He's got 4 from Glaive Zuka, I guess 5 from the Battle Cry. And you're still piecing a lot of other things. So Glaive Zuka seems to be the choice here.
Yeah. Depends what kind of hunter this is as well.
Right, this could be one that ends up slowing down and has high mains. As much as it looks like it's all indications of face hunter, we've been surprised many times in the past.
We have. Like yesterday was the last time I remember feeling surprised at what was included in a hunter deck.
Absolutely.
And
Now, the challenge... Oh, did you want to say something else, TJ?
no, I was just gonna
That's a nice draw.
yeah. I was just gonna say the obvious that he's gonna coin out the
I
Sludge
want to
Belcher.
say that because this is the Pilot Shredder, I think this is the Hybrid Hunter. Pilot Shredders have always been on the very edge of the fence on whether or not it's... Oh, that's not a bad draw either. These guys are just top decking each other and wrecking.
Yeah.
The Pilot Shredder has always been on the edge of whether or not it goes in Face Hunter or it goes into the Mid-Range Hunter. But
Yeah.
I think because Pilot Shredder treads the fence so well, it kind of works in both favors. It's so resilient, so that way aggro decks can benefit off of continual repetitive damage. It also controls the state of the board if you want to play more of that mid-range style, because it curves into the high main a lot more powerfully, so you just control the state of the board, so the 6/5 ends up doing a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I really like this sort of hybrid deck.
Yeah, do you like this situation, though, that you feel like you have to kill command the Shade before it gets out of control?
Yeah, it's a really tough situation also because you think, well, next turn's turn 5 and he still has the coin. Like, whatever
Right.
is gonna come out next turn, I'm gonna have to find a way to deal with that also. And
Right.
using my kill command here basically puts me into a situation where I'm gonna have to probably use my Eagle Horn bow to attack into this. And one thing that these hunters don't have, unless they run Cult Master, is sort of like depth of hand, I guess, that longevity, because they don't have ways to refill their hand other than like Quick Shot, which is just not a very reliable way.
It's not even necessarily refill, it's just more like a cantrip.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Quick Shot does come into the hand here, and that's it's like an okay way to deal with things. I think you'd rather keep the Quick Shot and Hero Power here.
Yeah.
Although you do give up your 1/1s anyways, no matter what scenario.
Quick Shot.
Actually, if you don't use your Quick Shot, then the Knife Juggler goes down to 1 health. That's not very good either. You know that your opponent still has the coin, so you can play 5-drop and coin Hero Power. Quick Shot might have to be used. If he uses Unleash the Hounds, that's also really feeble too.
Especially if the juggle goes face.
Right.
Then it's just 1 extra damage, which doesn't do anything, essentially.
Yeah, this has to hit.
Oh.
Okay, it does. And the Knife Juggler gets to survive. That was a pretty big deal.
Yeah. He can keep applying pressure. The Knife Juggler is going to survive through just the Hero Power.
Right.
Oh, he saved.
Oh my. Now that's something I wasn't expecting.
Huh. I mean, I guess the damage is spread out,
Right.
But that seems...
It's like you better not have swipe or even a wrath for one, but it's like one of the things where I suppose if his opponent had Dr. Boom and he wanted to coin it out for some reason, he'd like disincentivize that, but this is... I thought this was played so that you can protect the Knife Juggler. That's what I originally thought.
Yeah.
It does maximize your damage over the next 2 turns, though.
Well, he's out of cards. Quickshot can be used, but he can't empty his hand beforehand.
Right. And now Mad Scientist comes into the hand. Both keepers have been used. Oh, that was a different game.
Yeah.
Still a lot of damage. That's 7 damage dealt this turn. Ancient of Lore is pretty clutch, though. Oh, and that's pretty good. So that way you can do damage. You can start racing now because you have 6 damage from the hand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 16. You put him at 15. He has to trade in now. Unless you're worried about kill command, so...
I don't necessarily... Yeah.
So
or Houndmaster even
kill
would
command
punish.
8, 10, 11. It's a lot of respect. Interestingly enough, now if Modernleper is playing the hybrid, truly, because 2-Glaive Zuka is in the hybrid, then he's afraid of Freezing Trap, because Freezing Trap on the Ancient of Lore gives him heal in the next 2 turns.
Yeah. Especially with an empty hand, it's going to be hard for him to find that extra 5 damage.
Right. Well, he's got Glaive Zuka over 2 turns, so he could play this weapon and then just go like all face.
Yeah.
Or he can try and control that Ancient of Lore, but then lose out a lot of damage. Losing 5 damage here is really painful.
I mean, he could put him to 4 and refill his hand. That's, or not refill, but
Draw another
draw
card,
an extra card.
Which, if it taps into another quick shot, which I don't think the other deck does run 2 quick shots, but if he chooses to, if he does choose to, he can. Oh, it's explosive. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I thought he was aiming for something else instead. What secret is this now? Swipe off the top. Yikes! And Modernleper knows as soon as he pointed at it, he's like, oh, not quite what was
off the top. And he gets the Ancient of Lore back, so that's going to be...
No weapon charge that was done.
Yeah.
4 damage next turn. Unless he quick shots into Huffer or something equivalent to that. Does he play Haunted Creeper? Guess so, since it's just board resilient. Even though Kill Command would only still do 3 damage. But he knows the opponent has the Ancient of Lore.
Okay, so Ancient of Lore would bring him up to 12. He'd have 3. Kill Command would be 9 damage total next turn. And that's like best case scenario. That's the maximum amount of damage.
Quick shot into Kill Command.
I think he's used both quick shots, hasn't he?
As far as I know, I think he only used 1. And a lot of the deck that I was looking at only runs 1.
Yeah.
So this eliminates combo of the Savage Roaring Force of Nature. 2 picky Mono Druids! Leadpaint has got the hand lock. He's got the hand lock in his sights.
Yeah, that's...
He's ready! I mean, I think Leadpaint has a really good chance of, like, advancing to the land finals, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really loving this deck and this playstyle.
He's also statistically more likely than other players because he has 2 shots even if he doesn't make it today.
It's true.
He can come back on Sunday and try again. So.
And that's going to do it. Modernleper draws short, and that Hunter deck has fallen to the Druid.
Mm-hmm.
And we still don't have closure on whether or not this is the aggressive or the hybrid, but we're leaning towards the hybrid. No high mains. And the Kill Command had to be used early. Leadpaint escapes from this game by the skin of his teeth. 6 health remain. It was really close.
He's also just 1 win away from securing his spot in the semi-finals of today, where he'll be 2 games away from then qualifying for the land finals. So the only deck he has left is the Warrior.
Freezing Trap is usually so effective against Druid because they're a deck that relies so much on snowballing tempo with early innervates and wild growth. And freezing trap in that position was the worst possible trap. If it
Yeah.
was anything else, it would have been okay, even if it was snipe. Because sniped. Because even if it was sniped, it wouldn't have bounced back to Ancient of Lore because he ended up living by like 6 health, which means he could have gone face more often instead of playing for board.
Yeah.
And he would have been able to get Mad Scientist doing damage in. You were saying that he could have gotten him to 4 that turn if he just went all in?
Yep.
Okay. But then his opponent would have traded to Scientist, bounced back to Ancient of Lore anyways, and then he would have had to deal with Lotheb.
Yeah, it was
Right.
too risky of a situation. And he
Sure.
would have had to... He wouldn't have been able to control which buff the Glaive Zuko went on, which would have made it even more awkward. So he could have put him at 12, but there was not many situations where that would have been the right play.
Sure.
With the state of the
I'm
board.
just kind of evaluating, could Modernleper have done anything that would have won him the game had he known the hands and the cards that would have played out?
Yeah.
And I think the answer is no, but that's always subjective. We're going to Warrior versus the Hunter. TJ, what are the chances that we'll see a legendary dragon in this Warrior deck?
Oh, man. That's actually really tough. It's 50-50. No. 0%.
0%.
0%.
You drop 50% in less than 2 seconds.
Well, because it's like 50-50 whether or not it's patron or control.
Gotcha.
If it's control, it's 100%. If it's patron, it's 0%.
What about Blackwing Corruptor?
20%.
Victory or death!
Yeah, actually, still 20% after
Well,
seeing
Brawl,
that hand.
yeah. I mean, Brawl and Sludge Belcher. Sludge Belcher could be in Patron, but Brawl implies that it's on the side of control. Although
We're having
we
players
did
teching in Brawl.
see that people are playing it in the Patron War as well.
Yeah. It's fantastic in the mirror. Also helps you against Zoo.
Okay, keeps Deathbite. Excellent choice. Looking for the Fire War Axe. Shield Maiden. That definitely leans towards
Job done.
the control side. Let's see if he's playing the normal control warrior or he's playing some dragons. I love me some Dragon War.
Me as well. Me as well. He has a Golden Warrior portrait. I've been seeing a lot more Golden Warrior portraits lately, and I'm pretty sure it's because of Patron War. But also maybe because the Golden portraits have been out for a while now, so people have had a long
Right.
time to sort of get
More
up to those ones.
importantly, Modernleper doesn't have a Golden Hunter portrait.
Well, he mainly plays on EU, so
Oh, you're right. You're right. He's from the UK.
yeah. So I don't really blame him. I don't have a Golden Hunter portrait yet.
I don't either. It's at 470 or something. And
Oh,
I
you're close.
I refuse to get it to Golden Hunter.
just
Just
out of pride.
just out of principle, because I don't want it to be one of my first ones.
Yeah,
I want it to be like the last one.
yeah.
But I have a lot of games to make it with Paladin. I have like 200 wins on Paladin. It's
Yeah.
my least played class for sure.
Yeah. You definitely want to make sure your first is special.
Yeah, I was thinking Druid, just because it's like a pretty iconic class to what, like learning, basics.
Mine was Warrior. My second was Warlock.
Warlock's really close to like 480, and I also didn't want it to be my first, so
Yeah.
I let it go. I think Shaman's pretty close to, it's at like 450, 440.
It's pretty impressive.
All right, well, Leok ends up allowing it to trade nicely, but like we said, this deck is pretty good usually against the Hunter, especially now that he has a Deathbite set up safely at 25 health. Usually the Deathbite has a trade into things like a Hover. That's when you're really hurting.
Now, there are a lot of times in this matchup, especially against faster hunters, you get pretty low before you start stabilizing as a warrior. Because in the first 5 turns, you're pretty much just taking a beating. Like, that's how it is. Unless the hunter has a terrible hand and you have, like, double Armor Smith, you're most likely going to be, like, sub 15 health going into turn 5, turn 6 against faster hunters. Now, this is a little bit of a slower variation of hunter, but you usually get pretty low before you stabilize.
Yeah, well, he draws an Armor Smith, and that allows him to stay alive. Modernleper's definitely going to be struggling here, although there is still a lot of damage in his hand. Animal Companion could be clutch.
Misha's not that great.
No, considering his opponent can get through it easily through Shield Slam. If Misha was guaranteed to protect your minions and do damage, that would have been great. Now it's like, do I let this Acolyte or do I get this damage in? Do I let it live? Do I deny it from being drawn 3 cards?
It's like a lose-lose.
Right.
Because if you deny the armor, the Acolyte, you're effectively wasting 4 damage because you're also giving him an armor from the Armorsmith.
True that. You hit him in the face for 416.
Yeah. If you go face, you let him control his fate with both the Armorsmith and the Acolyte. So potentially next turn, he could not only draw more cards, but also gain a lot of armor.
Unless he plays Freezing Trap, that denies one of them.
Yeah.
Quick Shot. Oh, man, that Armorsmith has been pretty good to him. 5 health.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, 6. The second armor.
Or he could do both. And now, I mean, I don't think Block Shield Slam is even necessary. Deathbite seems like a perfectly reasonable option. Look at all that life gain. He's got 15 points of life gain in his hand.
And Alex Straza.
Well,
actually, at this point, it could be one of those things where he could stabilize so well that he could use Alex Straza and Gromosh to go on the offensive.
Yep. It's very rare, but it is a possibility. And
it is a lot of damage still.
Yeah. But 2 cards left in the Hunter's hand. He will go down to 11 here, but he'll be able to bring himself back up to 16. Next turn, he could bring himself back up to like 24 if Hero Power is the only source of damage. He's going to get the Shield Maiden bounce back from the Freezing Trap.
Modernleper can draw just damage point after damage point, though.
Also true.
But there's 2 shield blocks. That's like the really devastating thing. Because the shield block, shield slam, and then the Shield Maiden bounces back.
Yep.
That's 20 points of life being gained.
He's going to have to, by the end of this game, if he would have won, he'd probably have to do like 70 points of damage. Because it'd be 20 points of extra from just the shield block, shield maintenance alone. Could be more from Alex Straza. Then that also factors in the hero powers as well.
He's 3 points off right now.
Yeah. This play, it seems risky, but there's not really many 3 card combinations for 8 mana that are going to kill you from 11 health. I think, is there
There's
any?
one. Huffer, Kill Command,
Huffer,
and
Kill
Hero
Command, and Hero Power, yeah.
But he's ready to use both Animal Commands, I think.
Oh, yeah, Leok and Misha.
Misha.
Yeah, so I don't think there's any other than that with 1 creature on the board. And he has
Oh, yeah, just Sarah. My man. My man Leadpaint. He's going to be winning this series. Like, it's looking very bleak for Modernleper. Freezing Trap number 2. Yikes. He's got 8 damage. He's 3 short again. That Shield Maiden. Leadpaint didn't even need the shield blocks.
Yep. I can't even remember a time where I had double shield block in my hand against a Hunter and won the game without even using them. That's really, I don't even know if I want to call it impressive.
I think it just
sad?
happens to be that this matchup is generally pretty tough for the Hunter.
Yeah.
The Face Hunter usually struggles because there's so much weight life gain and whirlwind effects from the Warrior.
Also, one of the reasons why it's tough, I think, is shield block. Because of all the life gain. I mean, shield block is a life gain plus card draw. So
Modernleper, the best way he can handle and not die, because he's dead to an Alex Straza play, is to somehow get rid of Gromosh or Shield Maiden.
Mm-hmm.
I think if he unleashes, Kill Commands the Shield Maiden, and then hits face, that might be his best chance. But emphasis on might. Yeah. I don't even know. Okay, he even trades into Gromosh because he's not even sure. He's going to go for Freezing Trap again on the Shield Maiden.
That 1 Shield Maiden.
Alex draws on yourself for the win.
Yeah.
And just gain 9 life. Do it. Just how you do it. Shield Maiden again. He's just taunting him at this point.
He gained 15 health from a single Shield Maiden.
That's right, man. She can definitely take the hit.
Wow.
And that's it. Leadpaint advances to the semifinals off the back of his Dragon Warrior. Well done. Mm-hmm. And I'm
wasn't
like,
a Dragon Warrior. There's a Warrior with Ysera and Alex Straza.
It's got Blackwing Corruptors, dude.
Okay.
It has
I mean,
to.
I guess we didn't.
We didn't see it. I don't know it, but it's gotta have it, man. When you go like that. You got to go hard.
He had Sludge Belchers and Lotheb. I don't know.
He's got dragons in it. It's a
possible.
dragon warrior.
All right, we'll make assumptions. It's a Dragon Warrior. Leadpaint advances with his what is 100% a Dragon Warrior, and he's going to move on to
You
face.
said 0%.
He's going to move on to face the actual winner of the next matchup in the semifinals. Next matchup, of course, is going to be Cross 7224 versus Strifecrow.
Ooh.
That should be a good one.
Japan versus USA.
And both these guys had sort of polar opposite finishes. Strifecrow made it really far, lost to the eventual winner in his week, which was Life Coach. And Cross was the very first player eliminated with a pretty feeble score.
That's right. He tried playing Priest, and we were like, well, can Cross win with Priest? And it turned out the answer was no.
Yeah. All right, well, Cross 7224 versus Strifecrow. Up next, that is our last sort of quarterfinal matchup of the day. Then we'll move into the semifinals, and at the end of the day, we will crown a victor and invite one more person to the Legendary Series Land Final. So don't go anywhere, guys. We will be right back.